Is Janae comfortable around being around Brian? Am I okay with it? And a lot of the comments were kind of like,
and even if you are, should you be?
Should you be?
Right.
The comments were pretty much like, this is not appropriate. You know, I don't think that this should, you know, you shouldn't have any of your single friends around your husband. You don't want to leave any room, all of those things. In this relationship, but when we were talking, what did you say?
Now,
Janae?
here's the thing. I don't agree. Like, I like,
With
no,
who?
let me say it better.
With who?
So,
With us.
I don't
know.
agree.
I want her to say it.
Yeah, I agreed with the comment section. I did.
Let's go there.
Like a really bad mom.
Quote unquote, I'm tired of people in my race. So I need to find me somebody white. This is how I knew that Brian
Don't do it.
was going to be a great physical partner.
Don't tell them. Hey everyone, welcome to the Let's Get Deep podcast, where we have conversations about our lives that most people would never.
Would never.
We are very excited because we have very special guests. Actually, it's the first guest in our home.
It is the first guest in our home. That's crazy.
And who else would it be? You know, it's like, of
I guess
course
it makes
would be
sense.
this person.
It makes sense.
So go ahead, make the introduction.
We're welcoming my best friend, Natu Curly, aka Janae Mason, out here.
Wow.
So happy to have you here in our home.
It's an honor.
Such a rare occurrence.
It's right.
Y'all, she is here every day.
Well-
we always want her here every day, so
Her god kids are here, so.
yeah. And also ask her to come like every day.
It's an honor, and if I can, I make sure to do so. Thank you so much.
So,
Do you want to give a background? Go ahead.
background of the conversation.
Oh, I was going to say background with Janae.
Not for me. That's your friend. I mean, well,
Oh,
she's
and
my
it
friend now.
says it. We're here.
Wait.
Brian, remember,
Let's
we're
lift out.
besties.
Let's lift out.
Me and Brian are besties.
It's official. If you all didn't know,
Yes.
Janae and I officially have a term for each other now, and it is bestie.
Bestie.
It's
And
wild.
I've been promoted.
Come on.
It's wild.
Alexis is still processing everything. It's okay. That's okay.
Anyway,
Jelly.
I've known my best friend since what was 2016?
So we agreed 17.
17. Okay.
Official 18.
Yeah. And how long is that? What, 4, 5, 6, 7? Oh my God. How many years is this?
7 years.
Is it 70 years?
Whatever the math is, yes.
That's wild. Let's sit in that. Yeah, we're like
That was
adult
nice.
friends.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Adulthood friendships are needed, and we have that.
Yes. You know, we could talk about our background, how she always claims that I, snuck into her DMs, and that's not the case.
The word was stalked.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
I did not stalk you.
Okay.
Anyway, but I did message her in her DMs because I was a photographer at the time, and then we ended up connecting that way. And then she expressed her feelings for me.
Okay.
It was a girl mance.
Yeah, I would say this is getting different than what I expected it to go. But
It's a girl mance. It was
It
real.
was. I was like, I think we're getting close. I said, I think we're gonna get closer. Something I said, and I said, let's just get ready for that, okay?
we're like, we're gonna be best friends.
I'll be honest. I remember the first time where I heard about you and Lexi came home, and then you guys started to be consistent with your photography of your stuff on social media. And I remember Lexi coming home and being like, she just has a strong personality.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I remember coming home because at the time we didn't really have a lot of friends.
Speak for yourself.
You did not have friends. We did not have
I'm
that
gonna
many
say,
friends.
I thought y'all said.
we had some issues. We'll talk on that later. But
shady day.
I remember coming home and I was like, Brian was like, "Do you see her her being a friend?" I was like, I could never be her friend. I don't think I ever told you that.
Wait.
I don't think I ever told
Yeah,
you
you
that.
never told me that one.
No, I mean,
And
Lexi
understandable.
was like, she's strong. I don't think we would be good friends.
That's understandable. Because I don't want to. I don't want you to
And
be
we
like, okay,
talk
I'm
about
done
this a
with
lot.
this
Your
girl.
first impressions, you're like 0 for 100.
Okay. Oh.
No,
But the
it's not
second-
over.
No.
It's not over 100.
Are we going there today? Fine.
No, we're
Let's
not.
get deep. No, let's go shallow end, please.
No, but that is true. It is strong at the beginning because I'm like, I don't need any more friends. Why are we talking? Like, no,
That is
we're here
true.
for business. The end.
And I always also, what you guys may not know is that the reason why we started social media was because of Janae. And we would not even be here if it wasn't for her. She's helped us. I always give accolades to that because she's helped us get to this point, help us stay consistent. And part of that is what you just said was you were able to compartmentalize, like, this is business. And I had to learn that to a degree of like, everybody's not like here to be a best friend.
Yeah.
I was a photographer at the time. She needed a photographer, and we're here to work. But, you know, I eased into your emotions.
Yeah.
When Lexi says that Janae helped us start, she doesn't mean like philosophically or, you know, talked about the idea. Like, Janae called Lexi in the morning on a random, I don't remember what day it was, Friday. And she was like, I'm coming over. We're setting up your camera and your lighting, and we're going to film your first episode. Yeah. And she dragged us out of our room pretty much, and we filmed the first episode.
They were serious.
No, we filmed 2 episodes.
And then she left us.
Yes.
And she was like, I'm not coming back.
Yes.
She literally said, I'm not coming back. You're going to figure it out from here.
I meant it.
Okay.
And then the next time she really didn't come back. The next time we called if we had questions. And the next time we started doing it on our own. And it was like, you know, it was through fire, but we worked through it and we figured it out.
I fear for your kids learning how to swim.
They're going to be fine. I'm like, go ahead. All right,
just
come on.
tread harder.
But we talk about this a lot of having like that kind of friendship and being able to do business and do life together. This is a side note, but for the longest time, like, I've struggled with having friends in business. And I talk to Janae about this all the time. I'm like, working with friends, no. Like, I don't want to ever do that. She
always said no. Always. I think one time recently you said, I said, oh, whoa. Different. She's different.
It was really Brian. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm not.
Which friend
with
is
the
this?
event. And she was like, I think Janae. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want any, because I really don't want anything to ruin our relationship.
Yeah.
And our friendship. And so when I think that there's a business that is like, okay, I don't want it to get, you know, emotions involved, but we've done so many things together business wise, and it wasn't like us. It was us working together, but I just didn't realize it. I'm like, oh well, we're here.
I was like, you guys have practiced that over the course of time. You've like proven, and you also, I think you both understand the expectations of your relationship in that setting specifically, right?
Yeah.
So you know how Janae is in a business setting. She knows how you are, and you know how to compartmentalize, but also just have a certain understanding. Like,
Navigate.
she's just thinking this way, and she's just saying this because of this. We're fine.
It's
We're
ugly.
fine.
That's what you would be like. No, why are you doing this? It's ugly.
Well, I just don't want to put fluff around. It's like, no, that's ugly. No, we probably shouldn't do that. No. But I've gotten better over time. But also, too, with events or stuff y'all doing, like, I feel like I'm a person that cares about it more. So
yes,
I just don't want
absolutely.
anybody coming in with your initial stuff necessarily, with certain things, because I don't know everything. But initial things to just be doing whatever they want.
And that's
Yeah,
the
come here,
positive
act
of
up.
having a friend, because a friend that's in it and a friend that cares, like, you care about it enough where you're putting your all into it versus like I'm hiring somebody and they see it as another event. And I feel like I've seen the difference and I appreciate it. So
let's rewind a little bit. I'm curious, at what point, because you said you weren't looking for any new friends, and along
that's
comes this
often.
random photographer in your DMs, right?
Yes.
I think she's the greatest friend in the world, but at the time you didn't know that. I'm curious, at what point did you start to realize you foreshadowed that a little bit? You mentioned
did.
it. But what was that moment like for you?
The moment was like for me. I think we was just walking. I don't know if we were walking. I don't know what we were doing, but I was like,
we were at a concert. I remember it was a cold day.
yeah. I really thought I did that when we was walking outside or something. But
We
she
were walking
said,
outside of the concert.
okay, thank you, because I'm
Yes.
like, I remember walking, and
Yes.
so no, I just think whatever happened that day, or just these different series of events with us, I think I was just like, oh, she's really genuine. She's serious. Like, this is not like just an act. This is really her. And I think that was the difference. And the thing I told you too is that I had friendships in the past that didn't go deeper, or we never had hard conversations or butted heads. Not to say I'm looking forward to that, but we never did that. And so with us, I was like, oh, we're able to bounce back out of stuff, or have a conversation like this and find a resolution, or try to understand each other. go from there. I don't know. That was the biggest thing I think I saw in Alexis.
Do you feel like you cut people off easily before that point?
Chip, chop, block. What? What?
That is so
You're
crazy.
done.
Cut off.
Because I've
You're done.
never seen you do that in our friendship. And I'm not talking about in our friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Even the friendships around over the years, I feel like, and this is what I say that on my end, what I've always appreciated, that you do stay with it. If anything, I've seen people not stay with it with you.
Yeah, so friendships I do try, but it has been
Yeah.
Well, I got to do what I
you're
got to
talking
do.
about friendships that are already established. This
With
was
Janae.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about
This was a
friendships.
new relationship.
No, yeah,
where-
but I'm saying that when she talks about people that, what is it, like people when you have hard conversations and it would be like we cutting off, but I've always seen you stay like
Right,
I'm
but
working in it.
Like Brian said, if I feel like they were my friend, but people that's new or something like you, I'm like,
Oh,
you
you're
got
done.
one
yeah,
chance,
that's real.
and
That's
you're
real.
gone. That's what I'm
And you're
saying.
done.
Like,
No, that's real.
so I'm trying to understand the dynamics of how you, because I really feel like y'all are an anomaly.
You got it.
Anomaly.
Yes.
I feel like you guys are an anomaly, and honestly, I will say this very strongly, that you guys have a friendship that I envy. Envy may not be the right word because that's a negative connotation sometimes, but I aspire to be a type of friend like you guys are to one another. I have seen you sacrifice for one another, care, think very proactively, check in, just really be there in hard times, be there in good times, like just so consistently show up. It is something that so very few people have, and I am just really interested in how like this was formed, you know, because for both of you, you both were in very different places when you were starting this friendship. Lexi was a overcoming a people pleasing spirit, and Janae was, you know, in a
To take your time.
so I mean, like, but you guys were
was
very,
strong.
very different places that neither of which were like conducive to start a very strong friendship in a healthy way.
Yeah.
I don't know if
That's
there's a
good-
question there.
that's
I
a
just
good-
would be curious to hear more.
I think she just kept showing up.
I was gonna say the same thing about you.
Okay, well,
This
we
is
kept
so
showing
beautiful.
Because I think it's a real thing of I know for me, I felt like at the time I was showing up for other people. And when I mean showing up, I mean like,
What's the difference between that and people pleasing, though?
but I think that it was a form of people pleasing because I wanted these people to be my friend.
Okay.
And so I would show up, I would be there, I would, go over and beyond. But I don't really think I got that fully back. And I always got disappointed. I don't think I ever really I've never been disappointed with Janae when and it's not like it's an obligation at this point to show up. I think I was more so surprised for the longest time that you would just be here. I think because I'll never forget, and this is when I knew that there was a more, because we became friends. And I think this is a beautiful thing of us growing into a relationship because we became workers, we were working together, and then we became friends. And then I realized, like, oh my God, like, we're really close because we had that conversation at Aza's birth. And in my mind, I'm like, well, you're my friend. Can you help me do this? Can you be there? And then as I got pregnant, I'm like, no, she's here. Like, you're really here.
Janae
And-
showed up at 3 a.m.
But even before that,
Yeah, but even when you shared your IVF story and all that with me at Mimosa, I think that's where I was like, oh, she's serious too. Like I think I felt
Yeah.
that then too. I was like, oh, because that's something that's big to share with somebody that you.
Yeah.
You're like, do I know you? Can I
Be in that space.
can I
with
be
you.
in that space?
can I be with us in what's the word, y'all? Be safe in that, like
vulnerable?
vulnerable, yeah,
Transparent.
and trust you with this information about me. So that was pretty big to me too,
No, yeah.
because wouldn't have known. But that's what y'all were dealing with. Once again, you can assume why people aren't having this and
That's
what,
true.
but that was pretty big to me too when
Yeah.
you shared that.
I think I felt like during my pregnancy of Aza, I was kind of trying to learn how to balance, like, okay, when do I let people in? Because I easily let people in. So when do I let people in? And I was battling that for a long time with like, how do I know who to trust? And then you just kept being there. And then when I remember it was getting close to Aza's birth. It was getting close to Aza's birth. Why am I saying birth? Birth. I just remember you being antsy. Like you were just being antsy. What were you doing before I called you at 3:00 in the morning?
Oh, the actual day. Barely sleep, had my phone on loud. And I said, you know what? She needs a specific text message sound because I ain't got time for this. And then I was also up making a shirt for her, like maybe 3 different onesies.
And not only that, y'all, this is when why am I feeling emotions? It's been an emotional day. But I will never forget that you came with a spray bottle. Just you looked up information of how to be there for somebody during a home birth. I remember you talked to your friend and you came with you were making a shirt and you just looked for things that I needed. And I don't think I've ever experienced that before in a friend. I don't think I've ever experienced that before.
I don't think I've ever did that before, honestly. Like not for real. That was my first birth to experience because my friends did have kids, but I was never there. So that was a really big moment. Even when you let us stay in the room, because at first I was there for filming and I was like, is that all she want me for? I was like, I thought I was more than that. But
that was a whole conversation. Because
Janae said, I don't want to film the next baby. I want to just be there.
I like to be there.
No, that was real because for the longest in my mind, I'm like, well, are we close? Like, I think we're close. Like, I don't want to be that person again.
That's real.
I was literally battling, like, I don't want to be that person again. I'm like, so maybe she doesn't feel the way that I feel. Like, it got real relationship, y'all, which is for real because this is an adult relationship. And I think instead of me being super open, I was kind of like, well, where is she? Like, what does this mean? Which is
interesting because I actually, when I say, oh, I think we're getting closer, I meant that. And I think for me, that's it.
Yeah.
Because I ain't going to say it.
He's like, and that's the problem. That's exactly what I mean. That's because you never said that we were best friends.
Oh, you want to hear that?
It's like, I'm your best friend. That's what it was.
Okay, your best friend. No, I get it.
I think like in general, because we both went through a very heavy people pleasing phase, and there were so many times where Lexi would talk to me about like this inclination, this gut feeling that she had about people of like, it just feels off. I don't know how to put my finger on it. I don't know how to describe it. It just feels off. I don't feel comfortable and I can't figure out why I don't feel comfortable. And it seems like everything's cool, but it was just this weird X factor that was unexplainable. And as we grew up, emotionally and relationally, we learned, in my mind, to listen to that because I don't think it's just a random gut feeling. If you, for some reason, don't feel comfortable with someone, something is off. It just is relationally. And that's not just putting it on them. It could be you. But there's something going on there. And we've realized that the people that we're close to now are people that we don't ever have to question or have even that gut feeling that I just don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that you guys, as much as you're trying to figure out maybe where you were as far as how close, that's very different than trying to figure out, can I trust this person? Or, do they have my back? I felt like you guys were in a place of like, I just feel comfortable. Yeah. I can do and say just about anything and not fear judgment or condemnation or, X, Y, Z.
Or fear like that, or this fear that we're not going to be close after this. It's like, no, we're always going to figure it out. There's just it's a covenant relationship, which I think is a lot more spiritual than people see it as. It's like, there's just a thing, like, not to say you should be with a person that is constantly hurting you or, judging you or whatever. And you're like, well, I'm still going to stay friends with them. But I do believe that once you find somebody that is like in it, then it's like, okay, we have made a commitment to each other. We're going to stay in each other's lives and we are committed to working together. Yeah. Which is why I do believe that how you treat your friends does reflect how you are in marriage to a degree. I think there's ways that you handle things and operate where if you give up on certain things, like what does that look like in marriage? What does that look like in relationship?
Brian wants to
I don't know.
debate.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think that there are certain people out there, and I have read comments, I've heard people's stories. I think there are certain people out there that will do anything for their spouse, but at the expense of their friendships and relationships, to the point where they have just stopped investing in their relationships. Not just because of that, but like just in general, they're like, no one's as important as my man, or no one's as important as my woman, and that caused them to. And again, I don't want to say it's just because they were in a relationship, but just in general, I don't think they treat their friends as great, but they will treat their person wonderfully.
I do see that, and I do agree with that. I think what I'm talking about is more of like single people that, because once you have a husband, I think that how people deal with friendships are different. But I think once you are, I'm talking about when you just have friends and not dating somebody.
Okay, because those are the relationships that you do have that
those
are not
the people
indicative
you care
of
about.
your mindset going into a relationship.
Yeah, right
I
now.
see what
Now,
you're saying.
when you trying to battle, being in a relationship versus being a friend, I think there's a ton of people that fail at that, and they don't know how to take care of their friendships while in a marriage. That's a whole conversation. But yeah.
But here's the other crazy dynamic of the two of you that is perplexing in a way, is that you didn't meet when you were both single. Like, you were married when you met.
Yeah.
And that does not typically happen, right? Like, most of the time you're either married and you hang out with other married couples or married friends, or you're single and you hang out with single friends. But you met Lexi when she was already married. In fact, it's kind of weird that you weren't in the wedding.
Yeah, I was about to say, I really want to just maybe Photoshop myself in there, or like.
I think it needs to be
looking back
Photoshopped.
at photos and like, where were they?
Exactly. Me
My best
and
friend's
Cam
not
are
in there.
like,
Your best friends aren't in
Cam,
there.
Julian, me, we are like, wow.
None of them. It's really wild. And that's why you need to pick your bridesmaids and your groomsmen.
I think for the most part we did.
Actually, most of them were family, so I'm still cool with almost all of them except one. So,
But for
not
those
bad.
listening, take your time. Huh?
Take your time. Because I remember somebody telling me this a long time ago, and they said, when you look at your bridesmaids, do you think that you would see them 15 years from now? And you can still say that we're still cool. We still hang out. We still talk. They can still pray for you. There's no question. And honestly, most of them was a yes. Except one. For you, I think it's all a yes, because you mostly had family.
I was 9 for 9.
Come on, somebody. We love to see it. But
So
I
how was
agree,
that
though.
dynamic? Yeah,
I think
let's
that
talk
is
about
different. For me, like either coming over or hanging out, I was big on like, oh, you got to answer the phone for Brian. Go ahead. Or like, oh, if Brian comes, oh, I'm gonna leave. You like, girl, stay. So it was like a thing of like, I have a huge, big, crazy respect for marriage, where I'm like, whatever you want me to do concerning your marriage, I'm gonna do. You don't like that, I won't do that. You want me to leave at this time, I'll leave. Like stuff like that. But I heard some of the comments.
Here we go.
Didn't like.
And here we go. Which is really why we're sitting here today, if we're being honest with
Yes.
ourselves.
Yes.
Because a conversation popped off, unbeknownst to me, between the two of these peoples. And it was after we posted the video about physical intimacy as a married couple.
So what was mainly talked about was my single, having a single friend. And I specifically called out Janae, saying that, Janae is comfortable in our home. Janae is comfortable with Brian. Giving a little backstory, at first we were really cool. And then I think that there was, I would say, uncomfortability between being around Brian, like as a friend, when you first came around.
I think she felt uncomfortable, and I just didn't know her well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I kind of told the rumors
I'm
that
right
you
here,
were mean.
and so I'm not uncomfortable.
Were you uncomfortable, Janae?
No, I wasn't uncomfortable. I was just respecting, or what I assumed that you wanted. So I think now knowing, well, not now, but understanding like a little bit later that, oh, this is how she operates and moves in her marriage. She cares about this. She don't play with that. Like, I think it was just me understanding how that looked. And I had another married couple friends that I hang with, but once again, every married couple that I'm around, y'all are all different.
Yeah.
So I be trying to make sure, like, no, they don't. Okay, I can do that. So I'm just mindful.
No, and that
But I
makes
wasn't
sense.
uncomfortable.
It looked uncomfortable in the beginning.
It did. For me.
But Because I mean, once again, think about it. I'm like, I'm single. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing about Nene.
And that's true. And that's real. And in my mind, I was like, and also we got to realize our background. We came from all of our friends, including all the girlfriends. So when we first started hanging out, Nicole, Alex at the time, like me, Ashley, we would all hang out with me, without me. Brian by himself
I
with
had
Nicole,
relationships
Brian
with
by
all
himself
them.
with
They had
Ashley.
relationships with all the other guys.
It was just so natural. So that's where our mindset came from.
Because it was super chill. Like nobody was trying to do nothing with nobody. We were all just cool.
Yeah.
And I think that the other part is you and I are also just, for lack of a better term, confident with our relationship and our level of trust and knowing where each other's at. And like, okay, we didn't really explain fully like some of the comments.
Well, this is the
We're all over the place. We're getting excited.
But this is the thing. So the comments we're talking about having a single friend around Brian. So being able to be is Janae comfortable around being around Brian? Am I okay with it? And a lot of the comments were kind of like,
and even if you are, should you
be?
Right.
The comments were pretty much like, this is not appropriate. You know, I don't think that this should, you shouldn't have any of your single friends around your husband. You don't want to leave any room, all of those things. In this relationship, but when we were talking, what did you say?
Now,
Janae?
here's the thing. I don't agree. Like, I like, no, let me say it better.
With who?
So,
With us.
I don't agree.
I want her to say it.
Yeah, I agreed with the comment section. I did. I said, because,
Did or do?
I am the thing that I don't agree with. And that's really crazy. But, or I'm the person I don't agree with. But yeah, like, I think just growing up and seeing things or whatever, like was pushed out on media, whatever it is you're watching, you realize like, oh, this has been ingrained in me. Like, oh, yeah, no, I don't. Why would I have somebody just over at my house and my man there? I would never do that. And so, but then I had to stop in that moment though when I did express to you like, yeah, I would never do that. But I'm like, Janae, but you do. And so I had to remember like, you legit though, you trust me and Brian, and you, like you mentioned too, that you know our character and whatnot. So I think that's the biggest difference. And it kind of, starts switching my thinking like, okay, could I do that at some point? Maybe. But I just think it depends on a person. Like if it was you, duh. But would I do that with his friend?
But that's the conversation that we were having, is that I think that when we did our video, and we kind of actually, as we were talking, kind of went backwards and agreed a little bit with the comments too.
We understood and empathized with the comments for doing what you need to do to secure your own relationship.
Exactly.
Yes.
I didn't agree with them for us in this situation.
No, in this situation. But when we were talking, one of the things that we said was, I think that we are the exception,
Easily,
not the rule. And this is I believe that this is a very unique dynamic where we can trust our friends. And I want to make it clear, I'm not trusting everybody around you.
No, that'd be weird.
It's the same people every time. There ain't no new people really around like that, around just Brian alone.
Come on.
No. But this is a unique situation where I think we can trust. But I don't think a lot of people don't have that.
I'm gonna play Angel's advocate of my own thinking. If you look at certain relationships of people who have slept with their friends' wives or friends' husbands or anything like that, I would name names. I don't want to put people out there like from a famous, not like our friends, but everyone calm down.
Keisha,
Everyone calm down.
Like,
but there's names that the Christian community would be able to identify the story. But when I think about that, I'm like, is there a point that 12 years, 20 years down the line, they never thought that it would get there? And all of a sudden, circumstances over a long course of time have changed without people really realizing, and here we are, made a mistake, right? Like, should we, even though we all three of us are on the same page, extremely comfortable with the parameters, boundaries, and trust and all these things, do you think that at some level we are still naive to establishing stronger boundaries just to make sure?
I personally don't. And I say that because as much as we hear these stories, I also believe that there are signs. And I think that those signs are ignored.
easily.
Yeah.
Because if you saying certain things about my man, it's like, hold on.
Man, you looking good today. Oh, like what? That's weird. What they say. What
It's
they
okay.
say.
I don't know, but like, you're like, okay.
I feel like, and also I believe in discernment. I do. I believe that relationships can be spirit led. That's friendships. That's husband and wife. All of those things. You're with somebody, especially with your husband and wife. Let's just start there. When you're seeing something weird and you don't want to talk about it, you don't want to pick it up, you don't want to say something, you're with this man 24/7. Come on.
And they always want to put it on a girl first, because I'm saying I got to defend us.
Come on,
but
come on.
Wow.
don't defend us first. Be mindful of your husband first. You know what he doing. And the same thing, because we ain't gonna sleep on wives. They be out there too. But like,
Yes.
be mindful of your spouse. Don't just automatically put it on a single person, because that we look like what you talking about before. Like, we look wild or loose, and like we ain't got control over our lives. First of all, living my life great. Like, I have discipline. I know what I'm doing. I'm very aware of what I'm doing. First of all, I also want to be married. You think I'm gonna put a type of seed like out there like that? No, I want to be married, and I don't want to see nothing like that in my marriage.
Right.
But also too, as I mentioned earlier, I honor marriage. So for me, it's stuff like that. Like, you got to be for real, and not always put it on a single person, but also be mindful of your spouse.
How do you feel about that though? Like the demonizing of singlehood.
Yes.
I think it's very unfortunate. I've heard somebody say, probably on social media, like, you should only keep married friends. Married people only keep married friends.
That's so sad.
And for me, I don't understand that, because you could steward us, you could impart wisdom to us, but you rather keep us over here and then say this, like, God's gonna send him da da da. I'm like, but you could still teach us something that could help me maybe get to that point, or like pray for me. Like, I don't even know if you even praying for single people. You just like, oh, I've already passed that threshold.
Thank God that's over.
You know what I'm saying? And so now you're uppity, holier than now, a new level, so you don't understand us no more. Please. Your man can leave you tomorrow. I said it.
Oh, come on now. Wow. And that's the truth. And also, you're missing, it's the same thing of like what we were even talking about, of how certain people choose certain races when they're talking about dating. You could be missing out on a great friend, and you're not being around them because they're single.
Because you're categorizing people.
That's crazy.
It's really like creating stereotypes, generalities, and categorization, right?
Very fast.
And it's unfortunate, because you're not looking at the situation individually. You're just creating like a class of rules that you're living by, which, again, I did say this in that podcast, but it was like, I'm not here to judge anybody's boundaries in their marriage.
Yeah.
Because if whatever boundaries you have kept, whether I think they're tight or whether they're not, whatever, if it has kept y'all from cheating on each other,
Come on.
Do
keep
what
your
you-
boundaries.
do what you gotta do.
Because at the end of the day, that is more important than anything else out here, is keeping your union. It is more important than friendships.
Absolutely.
It just is. I'm sorry. Cleave to your
I
husband,
agree.
cleave to your wife, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's more important than any relationships in your family, any relationship with your friends. So at the end of the day, if it's working for you, I'm not going to sit here and challenge that.
Absolutely.
I just know what's acceptable and okay for us. Some of the comments specifically, because we had mentioned the situation of you like spending the night here. They're like, I would never let a single woman spend the night in the same house
That
as
is
my
so
man.
crazy.
And I was like,
A single woman. I am a best friend. I am
there's
Aza's
so much
godmom.
more.
Like,
Again,
it's so much
categorization.
more. Like, I think it goes back to what you said. I think that's so unfortunate. That's how you categorize me. You don't even see me as a person no more. I'm a single woman. That's it. Like, wait a minute. First of all, I'm more than that. So this is a unfortunate topic.
That is so real. And because you know what? And because I know that you've experienced this too, of like people kind of distancing because you were single. And it's one of those things of like, you stripped away all of the titles that I had before. And now when you're married, it's almost like, no, you're single Janae.
the single
Woo-woo.
friend.
Yeah, you're the
Woo-woo.
single. I'm like, whoa,
And
I
here's-
didn't even think about it like that.
And what we talked about before is that I didn't ask to be single
Yeah.
at this age.
But now that's your main category.
That's
your,
me.
That's what you.
No.
That's
I
wild.
did not ask to be single at 32.
What's funny to me, number one, to your point though, as if married women aren't still thirsty out here. Like,
Oh, there is.
as if married men aren't still thirsty out here.
Exactly.
There's a lot of unsatisfied people in their relationships.
shit.
And
They
people
did.
act like that you marrying somebody because a lot. And if we want to talk about some of the people that,
Don't name names.
no, I'm not naming names.
Y'all-
I saw in her eyes. She's on
But
fire.
it's like if we want to talk about it, those people that they were messing around with were also married.
it shows the mindset of people then, because
true.
our mindset is really competing. It's battling against what they think they know or have experienced, which is unfortunate. But for us, we're not in Delulu land. We are legit and we are, first of all, spirit led by the Holy
Yes.
Spirit. We are using wisdom, discernment, all these different things throughout our friendship. This is not a friendship where it's just like we're just, I don't know nothing about you. I don't know. I haven't, dug deeper. We have true relationships here.
Yeah.
So if they are surface level, that's on them. They ain't got nothing to do with us.
Or if you're not seeing the signs, because
Them
sometimes you can be spirit led, but your friend could be weak. And I'm not talking about a single friend. I'm talking about single or married.
Married counts.
And you're seeing, because not to say that you're more susceptible, but when you are dealing with a bad marriage,
That's what I'm about to say.
I know you. I was right here. I was right
Wait
here.
a minute. Let's just
When
pause.
you're dealing with a bad marriage, every day you in the trenches, and then you around this man, and
looking
you see
for somebody to talk to.
and you need somebody to talk to and vent. And then also you see like this man that looks attractive, that's doing all the things that maybe quote unquote your husband's not doing.
Come on.
I don't see much of like a percentage of which one is more or worse here. I'm like, either way, that is bad. You should not have your man around.
Let's just
that.
realize people are people, and people are susceptible to temptation. People are void of a lot of things in their life that they're trying to fill. Right? Like, it's just the reality of it. And I just there's no void that we're trying to fill in our marriage. There's no void that we're trying to fill in our own personal lives. So
No.
and that goes for all three of us, not just the married folk on the couch. Like
Yes.
and people in the crowd in the comment section might go crazy, but Janae and I have been left alone in situations. Like we have worked on your closet when you weren't here. Like we were downstairs working on the closet. We are doing projects, building shelves for the office. Like, but there are still absolutely very strict and strong boundaries. I will never be in the same house as Janae sleeping with just the two of us. Like I don't care if it is downstairs.
That's
If
the
you are not there,
difference.
I'm not here. I'll get a hotel. I'll pay for her hotel. We will figure other things out, even if it was a dire situation. But we're just never going to do that, right? Like if you're here, we're good. But there's still boundaries, very strong.
We're not
boundaries.
just out here being like, oh, everything is awesome. But
No, seriously.
But going back to the comment section of what you were saying of how you agree with them, it's also because you said to me, if you were on the other side and it was your guy that also had best friends.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I know I can trust you around him, but I don't know if I would have to get to know his or trust what he's saying, because then he would have to trust what I'm saying regarding Brian or you. Well, mainly Brian, because that's another guy situation.
Right.
So he would have to trust what I'm saying about Brian. So then I'm like, in return, I need to trust what he's saying, but also be mindful, right? Like, I'm not just gonna say yes just because you said like, oh, they're great. Like, I will actually do my work, pay attention, pray. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, I don't want to just be blinded to this.
Yeah. No, that's real.
Me and Brian, we're gonna stay friends forever. You hear me? Once again, I'm not dating anyone that won't accept Brian.
What if? What if you find the perfect man who is like, I don't trust this little man. I say little. I don't know why I put Lil in there. I'm degrading myself. I need to pray about that.
Take that back.
I'll take it back.
Ask the question again.
What if you found the perfect man who just said, I don't want you to have any guy best friends. Don't care if he's married. Don't care if he's the best. I met him. Cool dude. Still don't care. What would you do?
Put the camera on me.
Zoom in.
I promise you, if I meet someone that's taking away my guy best friends, I would understand and I would get what he's saying, but he's gonna, at the end of the day, become your best friend then.
It's gonna be one or the other.
What?
Let me tell you.
Because there's no way that I'm losing my best friends. My guy best friends, I already took too long to even get guy best friends, first of all. And you're gonna just snatch them? Then you're not for me.
Oh,
I appreciate
let me tell you something.
Brian.
If I were to answer that single, I'd be like, Brian got
Brian.
to go.
You said wrap it up.
Because I don't think you picture. I'm talking about the guy,
Of your
the painting.
dreams.
On my wall.
The painting, the guy on your wall.
On my wall, not chocolate drop.
Oh, who is on the wall?
Just an illustration of the picture. But why you do that?
Because you're not envisioning. You're just saying what you're saying, but you're not envisioning. I need you
Okay,
to
so
envision
what about
it.
this? What about this? Is it? Because I feel like at the end of the day, it's really important to understand why he would be uncomfortable. If it's like an issue with his own identity and self-confidence, like we might need to just work through that, because that sounds like a you problem, right? Like at the end of the day, though, if y'all are really together, then again, I respect the institution of marriage more than any relationship. I would actually say do what you need to do to preserve your relationship with him.
Hard.
But it's crazy because
to what
we had.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I think at the beginning stages of a relationship, I would see where he is. But I have to remind myself that there's sometimes a switch for people when they actually get married. So
real.
I also have to prepare my heart and mind about that, because he could be cool beforehand, but with something about him being my husband, now it's different for him. So I think we'll
Because we've
cross
seen the
that road if it
switch.
comes, guys.
We've seen the switch. People are like, oh, well, we got to only be with certain people.
It's crazy.
We got to stay with certain people. And I empathize with it. Oh, I just got to be ready for whenever it happens.
Well, you don't have to be
You're
ready.
supposed to
It
say,
doesn't
why you
affect
crying?
you.
It's Brian.
What if you don't want you around by? You can't come to the house anymore.
Oh, we'll meet outside.
Wait, I gotta go.
Somebody got to go.
Somebody.
And I'm like, and the crazy thing, as much as y'all have put in work, like we've put in work into our
Yeah.
relationship. You know,
Yeah.
like we have spent time. We have been there for one another and had hard conversations and supported each other. And I feel like we're family. It's not like, oh,
Exactly.
this
Yeah.
is it's like you're my
People
sister.
missing
Like,
that.
you're my person in this family.
And to give you an example, and I would say me and Brian we are family oriented, but we are very friend oriented. Like our friends are our family. And when it comes to really deep, hard situations, I think we lean more towards our friends than we do our family.
Crazy
which is
enough, right?
that's a whole conversation. But to give you guys just a snippet of what that looks like, when I think about who was in the room and who was helping us with Aza's birth, it was what we call our Fab Five now. And, you know, Brian's mom and, you know, absolutely Brian's mom, but there were people there. And then my cousin Taylor, who's also like my friend, but it was friends. Most people would only have their mom in that room. And we're talking about I'm butt naked. Like I am naked.
Let's
and
clarify.
my friends.
My friends were not in the room.
No, Brian's
That
man
would be weird.
friends were in the room, but Brian's man friends was there. They were there for
right
you.
outside the door.
And for me, it was my friends, like my friends, and you know, and my mom, Brian's mom, because of COVID. But yeah, and now in this situation with Elijah, it was so beautiful to see Cam and Janae really, really not only care about me, but y'all were zeroed in on Brian.
Yeah.
Like y'all were not playing when it
No.
came to Brian. I've never seen that in a labor delivery situation or in the situation that we had before, because now that y'all were aware that Brian needed to eat, like Brian was
Yes.
working 24/7 on me, like y'all were like, go rest, we'll take care of Lexi. Like just go get
Can
out
we
the room.
please say that fast story with Aza's birth?
What
How
was that?
Brian was like, hey, I need you to.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, tell the story.
Wait, which one? Would you come in?
No.
You
With
come and
me,
help?
with me asking to tag out for a minute with Janae in the first round.
Oh my God.
So random. I've got the camera. I'm like, what?
Again, we're trying to figure out how close we are, right? And this is Aza's birth. And Brian goes out, says, I need to, do
Actually,
something
wait,
real.
I think I need to be telling this story.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I want you
Go
to
ahead,
say
go
it.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, we were in a place where Lexi was like, bro, you were like 28 hours deep into labor at this point.
Yeah.
Right. And this is our first child. She had stopped progressing. The water was not breaking. We didn't know why. And you were not progressing. And Lexi looked at me with just this look of exhaustion. She's like, I don't know if I can do it anymore. Like, I don't know if I'm done. And my heart was like just sinking so deep. And I'm sitting here trying to rock with her and go through the motions with the surges and all of that. But my heart got so heavy at a point of just hurting for you and seeing you in this state that I was like, I need a moment, because I was about to like lose it but I didn't want to lose it in front of you.
Yeah.
Because if I lost it in front of you, that would have made you and your emotions go on a roller coaster. So I'm like, I need to lose it and let this out real quick, but I can't do it in front of you. I looked around. I was like, who's near me? And there's Janae behind me with the camera. And I was like, Janae, can you come here? I called her over and I was like, and it was between surges. You had just finished a surge. So I'm like, just give me like a minute. And I was like, Janae, can you just stay with her just give me like a couple minutes real quick. I'll be right back. And Lexi, go ahead.
He said he's coming. He's going to send some help. And again, we were figuring out where we were relationally.
No, before that though, you questioned me.
No, I was like, where are you going? And you said, I'm going to go. You said you were going to go make some eggs or something.
No.
It was such a weird thing.
I have to keep my strength up. That's all I could think of. I have to keep my strength up. I need to go get a snack.
You said get a snack or make some eggs. I specifically remember you saying eggs.
I don't think I said
And I
eggs.
was like, why are you making food right now when I am struggling? What is going on? And I was like, that's the weirdest thing. But actually, there was two moments. And one when I was rocking, and then the other one was when I was on the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
So mind you, I'm on the toilet. I'm naked. I'm doing toilet labor. And Janae walks in, and I'm like, that's who you called?
Don't make me laugh like that.
I was like,
Please don't make me laugh.
that's who you called?
We're
Because
cool. I don't know if we're that cool.
you could have called anybody else.
Yeah, that was a lot going on in that bathroom.
There's a lot going on. And I was like, are you serious? Because again, I wasn't sure where we were. So I'm like, here we are.
She wasn't. I said what I said.
Guys,
She's here.
I
She's
did it
here.
on purpose. I wanted to bring you closer together.
Oh.
I wanted to solidify the friendship.
But honestly, I think that was another level to hit for
You're
us.
welcome.
That I was like, thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Say it to him.
I guess. Thank you.
But
when
that
I
was
tell
crazy.
You came in and you were just like,
Where do I
can
touch?
we look? Can I please?
Where do
I remember you were your yellow sweater. He was like, come on.
Y'all, full body weight on me. I'm like, oh my God.
And I was like, look, I'm struggling.
I said, I see what Brian was experiencing. That's all right. Go ahead,
couldn't
girl.
even think. I mean, I thought for 2 seconds, I'm like, well, here we are. And
Here we
now
are.
thinking about it, I wish that because I'm such a free flowing person, I didn't recognize how uncomfortable that situation would be for other people. But for me, I was like, it was a slight second of like, that's who you brought. Come on, you here.
Come on.
Hold me and rock
Here
me.
we go.
Come here,
Oh,
girl.
Lord. Glad I was doing upper
Said,
body strength.
We'll
the other
see if
day.
we friends after this.
No, seriously. But I think that's what I remember with Brian. That was funny.
Yeah.
What a time.
Well, I heard there was another birth story between the two of you with Elijah. Care to share?
Oh, yes.
And this is where the drama starts.
So
Janae,
tell him what happened.
you can tell because you tell it. You tell it.
So I was minding my business, helping her out. Me and Cam are outside of the pool. She's in the pool, but she's facing us because she has her arms on the rim of the pool. Brian's behind her, and Jennifer and everybody. So next thing you know, she goes through a surge, and next thing you know, I feel something on my arm. She bites me with all her might.
Like a savage.
Then she goes, "Oh, I'm about to bite you." I said, "What? You already bit me. It's already done." I almost had you open your eyes and look, because I was like,
I was like, there's no way that I said I'm about to bite you, and I bit you before.
You bit me and said, "I'm about to bite you." I said, "What? You did it?" I legit. So I'm not okay.
I don't know what Lexi's going through.
The funny thing is, I don't know. When we were in the high stages. Girl, put your arm down. We were in the high stages of labor. Like I was at what 9, 8, 9.
You were there.
I was in high active labor. Excuse me. So I thought that it was like Brian was holding me. I don't know why. There's a black woman and there's a white male. I have no idea why I thought that was Brian.
And let's be honest,
but I was
you
getting
couldn't even
super
see-
comfortable.
You couldn't even see the white male. I was behind you.
I know.
Me and Kim the whole time.
I didn't know where you were. I just thought it's almost like
She
you
saw
black out for
arm.
a second and then you you get back to your brain, but you're not looking at who's next to you. So I was like, this next thing I know, I thought I was holding Brian, and I'm like, I'm biting something. I need to bite.
She said
something.
it's completely acceptable to bite Brian. That's fine.
But I was enough where I thought I remember not biting you hard. Did it hurt?
Yes.
It did.
It's still here.
Girl, please. I
That was
thought I
crazy.
had enough sense to not bite you hard.
I was gonna bite you.
She's like,
I planned to
I'm about
bite you, but not hard.
What?
I could have broke skin,
Easily.
but I
almost put a
decided
Band-Aid.
not to. So that's when you know I was controlling it.
Real,
Thank
real
you.
friendship.
Wow.
She controlled her biting.
Thank you so much.
But that's real. That's what I mean when I say like my mother wasn't even in the room. It was my friend.
Yeah, we're close. And I want to say this too, that as we mentioned earlier, like I have Brian's back as well. And I, once again, I'm not trying to convince anyone listening of what our dynamic looks like. But as Brian said earlier, we are a family. Like it was like when I think about when we did your 30th birthday party and, you know, Brian, we're going to call you out just a little bit, but Brian didn't think it was for him. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it was for both of y'all. And I hoped in that moment too, that you realize, okay, there is a shift in
Actually,
the relationships.
That is where the shift
that
happened.
was the moment.
Yep.
That was the literal moment. I remember Lex and I were talking about that like after
Mm-hmm.
the fact, because if for all of you don't know, for our 30th, we had like already celebrated our 30th birthday. We had already celebrated
True.
our 30th birthday. And then randomly these jokers show up at our house like 3 days later at night with a party bus just for like our group,
Matching shirts.
small group of friends. And we just like hung out and drove around and danced and
It
had
was
fun.
so great.
It was
Matching
the
shirts,
greatest night.
scavenger
They made
hunt,
shirts.
downtown Detroit.
So they pull up, and I looked at Lexi. I'm like, babe, your friends love you so much. James like, Brian, it's your 30th too. I was
When
like,
when I tell you Janae was highly offended, she was like, did Brian not think it was for him? Because the way he looked, I was like, he did not think about, he was so happy for me. He did not think it was at all for him. And he was like, wait, this is for me too? And he was like, I think it took you a while
Yes.
to actually process that
What
this
that meant.
Yeah, because Brian, I could tell Brian was processing that whole day because he didn't really realize. Like he was like, "Wait, these people did this for me too. Like, why would they do this for me too?"
because like you, I never had friends like that.
Yeah,
And also, as a male, we don't exactly get super creative and thoughtful with our stuff, right? Hey, bro, happy birthday, man. 30, it's crazy. So, want to play basketball? Like that's just how we are. We don't get that creative with our celebrating each other like that. So to have my best friend Julian involved with that, and you guys, more specifically you and Cam, putting that together, it was like, wow, like
It was
these
really
are my
nice.
people.
Yes, and that's what I'm getting at, guys. Okay, we're family. But I was glad. I saw that you went from like, what? It was nice. It was
so
cool.
cool to watch you be celebrated like that too. And that is what I mean when I say that we've never experienced friendship like this, and to know that we're worth being celebrated like that for has been hard for both of us. When it came to the baby shower, just events in general. Now, mind you, my friends are just high on events.
They go all out.
you know.
Look, Brian's farewell. All black.
Is it Brian's farewell? Like, I want to do something small. Janae said,
No.
more.
More.
And it's not just the big things. It's the small things, just being there, thinking about us. When we had the birth of Elijah, like, Janae came with outfits for me to wear, a journal for me to write in, which I use to this day. Like, just different things that, nobody would think about. And it's just because. It's
Right.
not for certain special moments, because I appreciate the big moments, but really what has been instilled in my heart is the fact that when I'm not even thinking about things, you have come and showed up, just been there for me in ways that I've just never experienced before. So
My chest getting tight. Let's talk about something else.
Okay, well, I have one last thing.
I was about to say, I was getting like emotional.
Okay, I do have one last thing before we cut it. I've heard you guys talking, and I also know that you both have people in your lives that have wanted to like become best friends. Just the type of like, I really want close relationship, and I think that's great and all. But after seeing the level of work that y'all put into your best friendship, it's almost like you don't even have capacity to add more people into that tight knit. We can be we can be cool, maybe even close, maybe. But to be in that nucleus, if you will, of relationship, I don't think neither of y'all have even physical time to invest into that relationship. So how do you process new relationships, knowing the type of work that it takes to maintain the ones that you already have? Is there even space for more people to that degree? Not more people as an acquaintanceship or even friendship, but at that level.
I'll say it like this. God has shown me over the years how, you have childhood best friends and college best friends, all these different best friend levels I've experienced. But one of the things that God has had me have is single best friends. And I didn't have that for a very long time. As Brian said earlier, my best friends I have, like they were already married when we became close. So I think that's what I've been experiencing, being open to, because at first I was like, well, I have enough best friends. Like, this is good. But God showed me like, no, it's also, it's going to be fruitful for you to have single best friends in this particular season of your life. And that's who I'm cherishing right now and also trying to navigate. But I always make sure to say, I already have best friends. But I will show up for you whatever way I can. But technically, this person comes first. If I'm already doing something for this person, my best friend, they are going to come first. And, but they still feel that, I show up for them. So there's a balance that I do have, but best friend is first.
Yeah.
Ditto. I think, first of all, my best friends are kind of territorial. Jen barely made the cut. I'm playing.
Jen, our girl. Hey, Jen.
Jen, I'm about to say, but I will say, and even that, I was hesitant, but it's one of those things where I think that I believe in discernment and God giving. I think that I'm not in a quick rush. And I think there is beauty in being very secure in your relationships and seeing how much effort you give them and really taking your time to decide if this person should or would or could be your best friend. Because to be honest, I think I would hurt somebody's feelings trying to have somebody be my best friend now, because I give my all to these people. And it's not to say that I don't have room or space, because I believe that God, if this person is supposed to be close, then God gives you that. But I also believe that I am very secure in where I am. And I've been secure for a very long time. And there needs to be major growth in thought process for me to have somebody at this level. Doesn't mean that we're not close.
Exactly.
We can be close.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that you not jumping right here where Janae and Cam and Jen are like, oh.
And don't hurt your feelings trying to get there.
And don't hurt your feelings trying to get there.
You ain't.
But I think that's really important in mature, adult, healthy relationships to understand what level you are at and have that conversation. So there's mutual expectation around that. So you're not expecting a best friendship from me or what comes with a best friendship from me when I can only give you what comes with a level 2 friendship. And I don't mean to sound like business professional with that or too formalized, but that's the reality. Is like you need to understand where we're at and what I can give and what I can receive from you, right?
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes people get hurt because they want to be best friends or they want something closer than what the other person can give. And that's just generic. I've been in that spot personally in the past. So it doesn't always feel good, but it's healthy to have those conversations and be able to say, this is where we're at.
I so believe in that. I believe that you should definitely tell people where they are, where if we miss something, maybe we need to take some steps back. Maybe we need to, are we taking steps forward? I think surprisingly, God naturally did that for us, where we were seeing our progression and we're like, okay, we're friends now. We can hang out outside of just shooting. Like we can do more. And it's like, oh, we're about to go deep. I'll never forget, I've never seen Janae really make any real emotion until we were at Scramblers and you legit cried. And I was like, oh my
I remember that day.
I remember it.
Have I even seen you cry yet? I think I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
say-
you've seen her cry.
Okay, we're family friends. It's fine.
But
Besties.
Besties.
but I remember like, and it wasn't about like Amir. It was like a situation, and you were legit hurt, and you were talking about it. And I was like, and at the time, Janae was not opening up. I was coming at every window, and then I saw. I was like, okay, we're here. I want to make sure that she knows that I'm in this safe place with her. I was like, I'm here with her.
I'm tickled.
But that was us naturally growing into that. And I don't want to do that. I mean, with anybody, unless God is telling me that that's how it's supposed to be. Like,
But it doesn't, again, to your point, it doesn't mean you can't be close.
that's what I said. I said
Exactly.
the same
It
thing.
doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you can't have good relationship with
exactly.
people.
Yeah.
It's like, we're talking about like going from good family to like, you are a part of me.
Yeah.
It's different. It's just a different level. This
Yeah.
is great. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes. It's good. Wow. Look at us.
Who would have
so-
thought? I'm playing.
And so I feel like guests on podcasts, because we're new to this, guys, but guests on podcasts is supposed to be like interview type of style, but you're not a guest. You're just family. So we're just having conversation. It was
Exactly.
a great conversation today.
It was.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, she has her own podcast, Succeeding in Singleness. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Oh, shoot.
Wow.
Succeeding in Singleness. And you can also follow her YouTube channel, Natu Curly, Instagram, Natu Curly, and TikTok, Natu Curly. And Succeeding in Singleness on IG as well.
Yes. You
Yes.
got it, girl.
Hey, man.
Look at us.
You know, the podcast is all about, just succeeding in your singleness, okay? Because I'm not giving you no choice. God wants you to succeed, and that's what we talk about over there.
We love
Better
it.
plug.
Okay.
We love you, fam. We hope you have a great weekend. Or no, we post these on Mondays. I hope you have a great week, the entire week. We love you all so much.
Let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll talk to you soon.